Hello, everyone. Let me see. Okay, we've got a lot of people joining. Some TeamOhana folks, some customers, some future customers. So I'll go and wait, I might have to introduce myself again, but I'm the founder of TeamOhana. I am on purpose taking this webinar from this location, which is my garage office, which I had created back during the wonderful COVID days. TeamOhana came to life as an idea in early 2021. We didn't ship our first product till 2022 um, because we spent a lot of time understanding like why has workforce planning not been solved yet? Or if it's been solved, am I just hallucinating and thinking that it's broken? Um, but the reason of doing this presentation and spending the next 29 minutes with you from this room is I think we're going back to the basics of TeamOhana, or we're with this launch, it is we might just be starting a whole new company. So just to give everybody who does not know about TeamOhana, who we are, what we do, fundamentally, when you think about workforce planning or when you think about your company's workforce, there is current workforce, there is future workforce, there is a forecasted workforce because hiring may be late, or you may have some attrition, or you may have to quickly grow. But one of the things that kept coming back, and it keeps coming back, like this morning we were on a call with two wonderful companies that everybody knows about, but it's a hey, we don't have a source of truth. And ATS has one number, which is who are we recruiting against. The financial planning system has one number on what is our budget and where do we think we want to end the year at from a dollars in headcount perspective. And then your work days or your HR systems truly have what we call is your button seat employees and your future terms and your future hires who might have accepted the offer but are hiring on a future date. So wherein lies the source of truth? So in a way, that's what we solved for. And we said, okay, let's go build a platform that sits upstream of all your systems of records, which you have spent hundreds or millions of dollars in investing in and in building, and give you that source of truth. Why today is very monumental for us is that in this new world of, as Jensen Huang said, that every company or every SaaS company is going to become an AGAS company, which was an agentic as a service company. This is TeamOhana's new birth as an AGAS company. Now, you might be thinking like, let's set the agenda, what we're going to do. Like, I'm gonna share some like, what are we building? Why you should pay attention. I'm going to answer this question that everybody is coming. Why can't Claude Code do this? Or Claude, why can't I do this? Whatever this is, because I'm going to show you what that this is. Then we're going to dive into some real examples. And then I'm going to talk about our roadmap. And then we can open it up to questions as well, right? So step number one is, what are we building? One of the things that the happy side effects of sitting upstream of systems of records is that now you become the place where data gets reconciled. Uh, we get a lot of complaints as well because we air your dirty laundry. If something is wrong in some other systems, we will know about it first and be able to spot it for you. So the recruiting lead ahead of recruiting and say, hey, why my org structure is all messed up? Oh, because it was just updated in Workday. And why don't I have the latest combat? Oh, while we are still working on that from the comp team, right? So when we sit upstream of these systems of record, we become the place where you get the reconciled data available to you at all times. So once you have the data, now whether you are running workflows on the web or you are running workflows through an agentic system, you have leverage because now you have clean data on which a human in today's world or an agent in tomorrow's world can operate on, right? So step number one, and what we have done really well, is build this data layer on top. Now we own the data model that has harmonized your data across your ATS, your FP&A platform, your spreadsheets, and of course, your HR system. Step number two is, in the last 4.5 years of working with some wonderful companies, we have learned all the gnarly workflows that humans have to run in order to do workforce planning well. So these workflows are now embedded in TeamOhana. A human can go in and they can run that workflow. That's the advantage now. What a human can do, now an agent can also do. And I think the third piece of the puzzle is access control. Who, just like access control is very, very important in the human layer, it is also very, very important in the agentic world. So because TeamOhana has spent the last 4.5 years, starting in this very room, to build this data model, to build the workflow layer, as well as now to build the access control layer, the only flip of the funnel, which was the technology limitation that got unleashed at the beginning of the year when we got OpenClaw, that resulted into Cloud Cowork, and now it is resulting into Codex from OpenAI. So what is TeamOhana now building is the Cloud Cowork, the OpenClaw equivalent of TeamOhana as the platform. And now whatever you had to do in the dashboard or into the web app, now you can do through an agentic system as well. So that's what we are building. I'm going to jump in and I'm going to start showing you a lot of the, so I already started doing some work. Let me stop share for a second. I want to do my whole desktop. Yes. All right. Another thing that we did, I think, which was great, is that we brought it in the directly into your Slack channel. So let me go and start showing you what we've built. And I was running some of these analyses, is that if I have all the data, then I should be able to ask questions and I should be able to run analyses that results in very good ways for you to look at dashboards and outputs. So I did some work right here, which is span of control analyses. So I said, you have all my data of current headcount, future headcount. Can you go and do span of control analyses for me? And this was the artifact that was generated, right? It is giving you, what is the true unlock here is that we, even with all the engineering effort in the world or capacity in the world, we are not going to be able to give you all the different cuts of data that you need. And if I want to truly unlock execution, I cannot put every business in the same box and say, hey, this is how we have built our dashboard and here is the report that you need. That's not true. You have your own way of analyzing your data. You have your own business requirements. They may be similar, but they are bespoke to you. And now you should be able to unlock all the capacity. So any company in this world that is using TeamOhana now can start building their own reports and start building their own analyses right into the product. So here you can see I did span of control analyses, and I can say it's giving me org-wide span of control of 4.68. It is giving me how the departments are being split. It is giving me a status. It is also giving me outliers. Single manager carrying 15 direct reports. All three managers consistently above 9 reports. Under leveraged departments. This is the kind of report that you, or analysis, let's just call it a report. This kind of analysis was only possible first if you built this data connection from your HR system, your applicant tracking system, any other systems that has any of your people data. You push it into a Snowflake, build the ETL. Now you, or do all the work in a BI tool like a Looker or a Tableau. And then again, what you are ending up with is, first you needed someone to go and build these data connectors. Second, you needed someone to go and generate these reports and hard code them. Like it is programming at some level, BI programming. And then those static reports get shared along the way to people. You decide to change something, you have to do the work again, right? So TLDR, you are always waiting on someone to come and support you and help you. That's okay. But If you are really moving at a faster pace and you really want to unlock decision making, not just at certain levels where you have access to an HRBP or a finance business partner or a data analyst, but to unlock this right into Slack that any hiring manager can go and create their own report or try to ask the questions that they are waiting on so that they can better think about their organization, that unlock happens only through this new agentic layer. Impact, headcount impact, closing the span gap, peer benchmark. Our agent is also able to search the internet. So you can say, here is my data. Now, can you go and search the internet for some of the latest reporting so I can go and get that information? And you also have benchmarks. These are the benchmarks that were used to find out the outliers and the impact. So you can have all of these, and this was all done by the agent. It went and searched the internet, put the relevant information, and said, from June 2026, 20% below peer benchmark, right? Now, let me show you something else. At the same time, I was also doing some org and tenure analysis. I did it just for the engineering organization, right? What is our tenure distribution? This is what is our tenure distribution by different types of seniority bands, by geography, right? And then what are our key insights? Half the org is still ramping. India build out recent and large. Junior IC layer is disproportionately large. Principal IC track is thin. I mean, you can keep having this conversation again and again. Now, what is the next unlock is now you can share this live artifact with certain people directly into the system. So if I can share this, you can share it with the right people, they will get a notification and they will be able to see all of this information, right? So that is the true unlock of what we are trying to build, right? You can also now think about recruiter capacity analysis. You can now think about anything that comes to your mind can be easily built into the platform. Let me now talk about some of the things like, don't just think about this as an answer bot. Let me give you some history of how did we arrive at this place. Of course, there was technology innovation. But at the end of the day, our first journey of foray into building an AI product started back in the GPT 3.5, GPT 4.0 era. What we did was like, okay, the appetite was there for our customers to actually say, hey, I want to go and do these analysis. It's not enough on the speed at which you are able to go and generate all of these dashboards. So step number one, we built a chatbot which had a huge system prompt. It was built on the RAG architecture. Now, it gave you some answers. It did not give you other answers that the system prompt could not be figuring out. It was slow. Even though everybody was enjoying using ChatGPT on the web and writing emails and doing some other work. But for true analyses and to be able to trust the output, we were not there. So, you know what? Call it failure number one. We built it, we learned from it. We actually got a roster of all the different questions that finance and HR and talent really cared about. Guess what? Threw it all away, right? Another year goes by, technology was moving at a good pace, and we got to this also. This was not the only thing we were working on. We are a nimble team, but AI was always at top of mind, and we say, okay, what is the next thing that we need to go and build? It went from a RAG to what we call is an agentic RAG. That was a product that some of you are using. It's called the Teamo AI Analyst. It is the product that we launched in November of last year, and we're going to sunset in July of this year because TeamOhana Computer is going to take over. And that has been very fascinating because we took the next step, that it became faster. It was able to access the database better. It was able to answer more questions, generate charts for you, generate tables, and you can download those tables. And it had a knowledge base of questions. But again, that was the limiting factor. And this is what is fascinating, is that our customers continued, like even after I thought we had answers to all the questions possible in our knowledge base, but our customers continued to complain in a very good way and say, now my business has changed. I need to do some extra analysis. How do I do that? I can't do that because TeamOhana, it failed. I tried to go and update the knowledge base, and then you were able to get the answer. So what happened is that the admins and I would say the HR admin, the TA admin were patient enough, but this was not ready for prime time. We could not unleash this to the hiring manager. So what was happening is that we still did not have all the productivity that we could capture in the organization. Now comes the next step, which was early this year, OpenClaw happened. We truly started experiencing agentic systems, which is this is not just a chatbot, but it is actually a coworker. That's how the name of Claude Cowork and now Codex is doing the same things. Is it can actually do the work, and but it required a lot of access. That's why you might have heard people setting up OpenClaw were buying Mac Minis and giving them access to giving them access to their entire computer, entire file system. Now we can't do that. We can't ship Mac Minis to all our hundreds of thousands of customers. So now what we've built, the computer is actually a virtual machine that is in the cloud. It understands who you are. It has access to your real-time data. So if someone in your TA team just made an offer in Greenhouse or Ashby, TeamOhana syncs that immediately, and if you're running a report at that point in time, you will have the latest and greatest data because it is all synchronized in one pipeline. It is almost near real time there. And this was possible because we've now built this machine that has an organizational view of your company, organizational context of your company. It has access to your organizational data. It has access to your hiring plan, your job catalog. But also, this machine understands at the abstraction layer that, hey, you are a hiring manager who only has access to this one department, or you are the CFO who has access to everything, or you are the leader of this one department that can see both engineering roles and product roles, but cannot see compensation and product because you're the engineering leader. This becomes what I call is an agentic harness. And let me answer the next question that might be doing this. Why can't I do this in Claude Cowork? First thing, if you really, without TeamOhana, you would have to create 3 different MCP servers, bring all this data together, and you will lose the hard work we did in normalizing the data across the 3 systems. And then what happens is that your AI is getting confused, or the agent is getting confused because now it has 3 different data models to look at: the HRIS data model, the ATS data model, and the spreadsheet data model, or your FP&A data model, what have you, right? Now, because we normalized it and made our own data layer, we solved that problem first. Second, Claude does not have understanding of your workflows. For the last 4 years, some of the best companies have told us how they do workforce planning, from Docker to Postman to Vercel to Vanta to Greenhouse to Crusoe. These companies, Scale AI, have gone from less than 500 employees to now 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 employees. And we have known what all those different workflows are. And those workflows are now embedded into the intelligence of the agent itself. Not just how you do work as one of our customers, but how work around workforce planning gets done. So now you lose that capability without using our agent. And then the third thing always comes back to access control, right? Next thing, and we've got this question a lot. Okay, why doesn't TeamOhana just give us an MCP server? Sure, we can give you an MCP server, which is part of the package, but it still will boil down to like, how much of the work do you want to do on your own versus how much of the work that you want to sit and build into, like, is the real productivity unlock for you is to go build these skills and these dashboards and these workflows in TeamOhana? I mean, in your own Claude setting, or do you want to use something where it is more turnkey? Now, we all have a creator gene hiding inside of us, and AI is unleashing our creator to go and make us more creative. So I'm not going to say that don't do it. We will, of course, give you an MCP server as well, and you can start building things on your own. And there may be some places where it really makes sense. But let me list out 3 or 4 key workflows that our customers are telling us that they want to use this in. So first, if you were thinking of buying a Vizier or any people analytics tool, now you don't need to, because TeamOhana has built all the skills necessary to do people analytics for you. It will create a live artifact that can be shared across team members every day in the morning or at every refresh. It will always show the latest and greatest data. That's step number one. If you were thinking of hiring an analyst, you should still think of hiring an analyst. But if you want to let them spend less time on doing people analytics and more time doing some other analytics on systems that have not yet connected into I would say they can spend time there because TeamOhana will solve that use case for you. Imagine uploading an artifact which has some of your financial data, like, hey, this is my recruiter capacity model. This is how I allocate capacity. This is per recruiter. This is how I allocate effort per department or per type of role. That would be a file that can be uploaded into our artifact server, and you can give access to the different recruiting leads. So every time when they go and ask this question, do I have enough recruiter capacity to hit the company's goals? It is going to inherit the same assumptions and same logic that you have built into that file. That is the power of the TeamOhana computer. The next thing would become, which is agentic actions. One of my favorite customers, and she is brilliant. She's a head of TA, and she said, Tushar, you have these signals in TeamOhana which are very good. Headcount is at risk. You must open this role now, but you are using analyses which are, some data that you're trying to predict this, but I have my own model in my head when I say for all the roles that are in open in North America, I want the target hire date to be 2 weeks before the target start date. I can do it in TeamOhana, but it is very manual, right? I have to go, I have to select, I have to run the couple of filters. Why don't you make this easy for me? The next thing she said is, how do which recruiter is working on what type of roles, but sometimes my recruiters have not yet gone and actioned this role, and these roles need to hit a certain target start date. Now the agent can, every day in the morning, the agent can go and say, look at all the roles that need to be filled in the next 90 days, and they are not yet connected to Greenhouse or Ashby. Automatically leave a comment to the recruiter if the recruiter is assigned, or look at the current recruiter capacity and go find the best recruiter who should be allocated to this. You will be surprised how well this data and how well the agent was able to go and assign it to the right recruiter. Now, there are going to be false positives, right? But even if we are 80-85% right, that is a huge productivity unlock. It is going to not just make it faster for you to hire your roles, but it is also going to reduce the time that you need to spend on. One of the things that we had not even think about is that now we are a true observability layer. Are there openings open in Greenhouse or Ashby that are not connected to any headcount in TeamOhana? Is this some shadow recruiting that is happening that missed the mark? TeamOhana will flag it, right? Are there people who are showing up in departments that we had archived, or are there still active employees sitting in departments that are archived? The HR systems were built for, it is a good system of record, but you have to really work hard to keep your data clean in there. TeamOhana now sits on top, and if we find some data mismatches, we will be very easily be able to flag that to you, right? So, and the final piece of the puzzle, this is going to be really helpful for the finance organization, is that today TeamOhana provides a platform to do scenario analysis. You can go in there, you can look at headcounts, you can say, what happens if I move certain headcounts into the next year? How much money do I save? What if I up level these roles? How much money do I save? Or how much more money do I spend? You can do these analysis. But the core thing we understood by looking at a lot of film and talking to a lot of our customers, that the scenario is really well when you know what you want to do. Here is the desired outcome, but it misses the steps. It is very like, okay, you need to take action. I've made it very easy for you to take action. But what are the steps of actually reasoning and thinking this through? That intelligent work was still happening outside of TeamOhana with your HR BP, with your talent BP, with your finance BP, right? And we all know that business partners are overworked and overloaded, and we don't have enough business partners compared to the number of employees do we have and the number of changes that are happening in the organization and the number of help that we want to provide. So what happens is that these business partners tend to tie only with the most active departments, and then certain hiring managers are left behind. With the TeamOhana Computer now, nobody is left behind, because now the agent becomes your thought partner under the guidance and under the guardrails of what your organization has already set, whether it is budget, span of control, drivers, ratios. You can tell the agent and train it that, hey, these are the guidelines that we want all our hiring managers to work within. And now the hiring manager can come and say, hey, I need to build a team. How much would it cost to hire 10 AI engineers? The agent will work with you through it. Okay, where do you want to hire? I can see that you mostly hire your agents, your engineers in these locations. You already have a few headcount open. Are we talking about those headcounts? Are we talking about some new incremental roles that you want to bring in, right? How long does it take to hire these roles? What is the pay band that should be thought about? You don't have to remember any of this. The agent already has access to your data, and it will quickly go and process all of this information. And then the output would be something that you view and say, okay, this looks good. Push this into a scenario. It gets pushed into the scenario, automatically tags your finance business partner to come and view and give feedback. So at the end of the day, what we are truly doing is that you're taking the world away from, I want to do this work, then I'm going to wait, I'm going to talk to someone, they're going to give me feedback, I'm going to adjust, or I'm going to be stuck till finance has some cycles to take a look at this. No. My vision, our vision as TeamOhana, is that the business partners, and especially the G&A organization, is center of excellence. They don't have to do the grunt work. Systems and machines and now agents should be doing all the grunt work. The hiring managers don't like to do the grunt work because it is just hard. But no longer this is going to be the grunt work, because they are just going to be thinking about the outcomes that they want to drive. This is what I want to do. Help me get there. If the output is then well thought out, well organized, high fidelity output of how you're going to change the organization, how you're going to add new headcount, how you're going to adjust existing hiring timelines, and then that pushes into a scenario, and now you all come together to review, to approve, and to assist, and then to push the changes out live. So we are not losing the human judgment. We are not losing the human approvals. This is not sending Slack messages, right? Or checking the weather. This is hard dollars tied to human workforce, which is not just your largest expense, but your largest investment as well. But I think the next iteration and next version of TeamOhana unlocks all of this for you. And whether you are on the web, whether you are in Slack, it gives you all the capabilities of search information, get answers, run analyses, take action, and then plan. All of these in one system, right? We are recording a lot, and we will share a lot more videos with you on all the different use cases. But today it was advertised as a demo and I showed you a few things, but all of the things that I mentioned are in our pipeline to go live. Today we are in a closed beta with some of our customers, right? We are opening up more and more to new customers as well who might have joined TeamOhana in the last 30 days or 60 days. But come end of July, this is going to be GA. And I think this is going to be the future of agentic HR and finance systems with TeamOhana at the front lines. So thank you, everyone. I didn't have anybody else to chat with today, so I didn't want to speak at you. Hopefully you saw a glimpse of our vision and you heard where we are going. And if you're excited, if you want to learn more, you know where to find me. Thank you so much. My name is Tushar. I'm the founder of TeamOhana. Appreciate your time.